All right, I think we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome everybody online to today's webinar Wednesday, which is on SLC 500 modernization. Your cameras and microphones are turned off just to keep things running smoothly. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat, and we'll answer them as we move throughout the presentation. This training is being recorded, and it'll all be posted up on our website if you want to review it or share it with others in the future. My name's John Rambler. I'm the director of the Shader Yesco Industrial Automation team, and I'm joined by Chris Gongoff, who is one of our automation specialists. Chris and I are here to share the information to help our customers be aware of the status of the very popular SLC 500 PLC platform. There's countless control systems in the world with SLC 500 controllers. It's arguably the most widely used PLC in history. And Shader Yesco is proud to have sold, supported, and trained our customers on this platform for over 20 years. Unfortunately, as always is the case, every good thing has to come to an end. The SLC 500 platform was introduced in the late 1980s. And before Chris says something, yes, I was here. I've been around this Shader Yesco for a long time. The last major upgrade for the SLC 500 was in 1999, and that was with the release of the SLC 505 platform, which brought Ethernet connectivity to the SLC 500 platform. The obsolescence was announced in 2023, and the last hardware sales were in 2024. So almost every day, the automation team here at Shader Yesco gets a call or an email from a customer who's looking for help with an SLC 500 system. And unfortunately, in many cases, those customers are in a downtime situation. We always try to help, but there's lots of times we can't help. And that's very disappointing. And we don't want to see any of our customers in those situations. So that's why we're trying to share this information proactively. A couple months ago, I did a webinar on the reasons to modernize a control system. Talked about some of the benefits, including performance, increased safety, remote connectivity, and taking advantage of the new AI-based predictive maintenance and process improvement functionality. I also talked a little bit about how to get money approved for those projects. That always seems to be a real sticking point for our customers, is how do I justify the money for a system that still works? So if you haven't seen that one, go back and take a look at that. That's posted on our website, and you can check that out. One of the differentiators of Rockwell Automation is that Rockwell always has a path forward. With the size of the install base of these SLC 500s out there, Rockwell recognizes that the need to make migrations to newer platforms as simple as possible. There are many tools, many different options available when it comes time to modernize one of these SLC 500 systems. Chris is going to talk about that today and share a bunch of the information about the hardware and software platform modernization capabilities that Rockwell has. So if you have an SLC 500 system and you're thinking about modernizing or migrating it, please reach out to Shader Yesco, and we'll be glad to help you with that and help you determine the best path forward. We have 19 engineers on our automation team that can assist with the support and training and other aspects of modernizing one of these control systems. So I'm going to turn things over to Chris Gongoff, and he'll cover some of the technical details. Thanks everybody for joining the call today.
So I'm Chris Gongoff from Shader Yesco's automation department. As John said, the SLC 500 family has been around for a very long time. I was not here when it was introduced, but I was here when the last SLC 500 the Slick 505 was introduced in the late 90s. As of mid 2024, so as of mid last year, the Slick 500 line is obsolete and no longer available for sale. There are some items that are still available for exchange or remanufacture, but this will only continue as long as component availability allows. The one item that you can still buy new, and it is not obsolete, is the 1747BA. That is the backup battery for the Slick 500 processors to allow you to maintain these systems until you have the opportunity to upgrade these to a current processor family. As of June of 2023, Rockwell put out a letter saying that the Slick 500 would be obsolete in the coming year. So they are trying to give, or were trying to give, as much notice to everyone so they can prepare for the obsolescence of this system. The biggest challenge moving from the Slick 500 to any upgraded system, specifically the 5069 CompactLogix system, is the amount of time that will take your system offline. By using the 1492 conversion chassis, Rockwell has specifically designed that to drastically reduce the amount of time it will take to replace the hardware from Slick 500 to 5069 CompactLogix. As I said, this accelerates the conversion. Almost all of the Slick 500 I/O modules require no rewiring. They're plugged into the conversion chassis, and that is it. There is no rewiring of the field connections. There's also, about a month ago, we did a complete video on this system of the conversion chassis. And we will play that for you now. Today, we'd like to discuss the conversion chassis that Rockwell Automation offers to make it a quick and efficient switch from the Slick 500 to the 5069 CompactLogix to help bring your control system up to date. There are two parts to this conversion. The first part is the conversion chassis that is offered by Rockwell. It includes the chassis, the conversion modules, and then you will also need to replace your processor and all of the I/O points with 5069. This conversion chassis allows this to be done without redoing any of the wiring. The second part of this involves converting the program from Logix 500 to Studio 5000. You can see details for that on the link that's provided on the screen. The first part of this conversion is to determine what parts you need for the conversion chassis that Rockwell offers. In order to do that, there's a tool included in Rockwell's free software integrated architecture builder that allows you to build the existing Slick 500 chassis as it is right now. And using the tool, this software will tell you the chassis and all the conversion modules, as well as all the I/O cards and processors that are needed to convert this from Slick 500 to CompactLogix. Next, you will need to replace the existing chassis, backplane, and I/O with the conversion chassis. In order to do this, you will need to remove the wiring arms from the existing I/O as well as the chassis. Please take note, the conversion chassis matches the bolt pattern of the existing Slick 500 chassis so that nothing needs to be re-drilled or tapped.
And now you're ready to start the installation of the new conversion chassis. Now we will need to install the conversion chassis. The first part of this is installing the back plate, which uses the same bolt pattern that the Slick 500 chassis uses. This part is one of two wiring connections you actually have to make. So do not forget to ground this chassis at this point. The next step will be to install the conversion modules into the conversion chassis. These are configured for the I/O that it was in the Slick 500 chassis, and they are specific, so please make sure you get them in the right order. Now we will attach the existing field wiring from the Slick 500 wiring arms to the conversion modules. Please note, the conversion modules come pre-wired, so no wiring needs to be done here. Now we need to add the front part of the conversion chassis where the 5069 processor and I/O will mount as part of this kit. There is a feature that Rockwell has added on this conversion chassis to make it easier to troubleshoot than some of the other conversion chassis they have done in the past. So there are two pins, one that goes on each side to connect the front plate. And once those are in, this will allow the front plate, there's 4 bolts that hold it in place. If you need to do any troubleshooting in the future where you need to access the old field wiring, you can remove those bolts with these pins and the whole thing pivots forward to give you access to all of your existing wiring. Now we will install the 5069 CompactLogix hardware. This is the second of the 2 field wiring points I said you will need to do. You need to provide power to the processor with an external power supply. And then we start to install the I/O modules. Once the I/O module is installed, you get the cable from the existing conversion module, and it just slips into the I/O with no field wiring. As you can see, the conversion chassis pays for itself with time savings and simplicity. A conversion that used to take customers days to complete can now be done in under a half an hour using the CompactLogix conversion chassis.
Hi folks, thank you for joining in with us today. I hope you've enjoyed the content that Chris Gungloff has created around the Bulletin 1492 PLC conversion chassis. We believe that modernization is critical to the success of your organization and to help you remain competitive in the market. If you'd like to learn more about other strategies we've created, please visit our website for additional content and contact information. Thank you and have a great day.
Okay, so that video gave you a fairly quick overview on how that works. No field wire replacement. There are some cards that from the Slick 500 that do not have conversion cables. There are some that are a little bit different. 32-point cards can make things a little bit different, but for the most part, it is a very straightforward conversion. So as I mentioned in that video, there is a tool in Integrated Architecture Builder to help come up with the hardware that is needed for the 1492 conversion chassis. Here's a screen capture of that. And the way Rockwell has designed this makes it very simple and straightforward. You build, you don't need to go through and decide what do I need, which cables do I need, what backplane do I need. You build the existing Slick 500 hardware chassis in the Integrated Architecture Builder tool. You lay it out as it is, and as you build it, the tool then converts it to, this is the card you will need, this is the backplane you will need, these are the conversion cables that you need. It takes a lot of the guesswork and time of digging through different part numbers out of the equation, and it helps to make sure that everything is done accurately so that you can move forward with your conversions. When it comes to that will take care of the hardware. When it comes to the program, there is actually now a tool built into Logix 500. So this is a couple of the brief steps that you need to do. You delete unused memory, unused addresses, save the file, and then but you can do a save as and save it as an ACD file, which is a Logix 5000 file. That will allow you then to open that in Studio 5000 in whatever version matches the processor and the firmware that you're going to. There will be errors that are reported when you open that up, and you'll show what did convert exactly and perfectly, but it gives you a good start on converting your program from the Slick 500 to the Logix series of processors. If you look at this QR code or follow this QR code, it takes you to the reference manual. There is a full reference manual for doing the software conversion. And finally, as John had said earlier, if you have Slick 500 systems that you need to modernize, and at this point, all of them will need to be modernized sooner than later, please contact us. We have a lot of people here. We have a whole lot of experience with this. We deal with this on a daily basis from customers calling us. And just remember, it's a lot faster and easier if you do modernization and upgrade old systems on your time when you can plan for it than if you have to do it on downtime. That will take longer, and in the long run will cost you more money in the space of downtime. So thank you for your time. I'm going to turn this back over to John, and thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us.
Just one second, Chris. Not sure who would be better to answer the question. There was a question in the chat. I just want to make sure that we addressed it about how much further out does the entire assembly extend from the backplane in inches?
It is roughly 3.5 inches. It adds additional 3.5 inches from the Slick 500. So the 6500 plus three, like about 3.5 inches. If that's something that is a concern, we can get you the exact information, get it to you so that you can make sure that your enclosures are deep enough to handle that conversion. I'm going to turn it over now to John.
As we mentioned before, and Chris just said, if you have any information that you'd like to have, or you have any questions, reach out to your sales rep from Shaler Esco, contact the automation team, or you can reach us at info@sydist.com. So have a great day and appreciate you joining the call. Thank you.